economy in the world, not just for a few years, but for the entire century. I yield back.
Members are reminded to address the remarks to the Chair. The Chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Ryan, for 5 minutes.
Ask unanimous consent to revise consent.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to thank the National Labor Relations Board for moving in a direction with a recent proposed change that will actually strengthen the workers' abilities, a worker's ability in the United States to unite, to work within a system that has more transparency, that is fairer, that is streamlined, so that we can return a little bit more power here in the United States of America to the worker. And representing a district in Northeast Ohio and cities like Akron and Youngstown, and in a region that includes Cleveland and Canton and not too far from Pittsburgh, we have had a long, proud history in our region of a strong middle class that in many ways was provided by union representation to bring some balance to an economic system, quite frankly, right now, that is run by major global multinational interests that will do whatever is necessary to drive down wages for average workers. And I love this economic theory that we hear many times from our friends on the other side, that if the minimum wage just wasn't so high, if workers just weren't making as much money, that maybe the economy would start humming. Let's reduce taxes on the wealthiest people in the United States when they've had a boom for 20 years of an increase in income. But if we reduce wages for middle-class people, that somehow this economy will just turn right around. And let me remind my friends on the other side, we are currently living under the President Bush tax system. If this tax system of cutting taxes for the wealthiest worked and created jobs, we wouldn't have the problems we have right now. Think about it. We are living under President Bush's tax system. This system in 01 and 03 was supposed to lead to tremendous growth in job creation in the American economy. It hasn't worked. America works when we reinvest back into our people, when we make sure people are trained and educated. And I'm for a reduction in the corporate tax. We do need to keep business taxes low so that we can be more competitive. But when you start making hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, you've got to pay a little bit more in taxes. And we need that revenue so that we can rebuild our infrastructure in the United States, so that we can make college more affordable in the United States, so that average families in Youngstown, in Niles, can send their kids to college to become engineers. That revenue can be used to make sure that every American has affordable health care, so that no family in the United States has to make a decision or stare at the ceiling when they're laying in bed at night, worrying about whether or not their children will have proper health care, or that if one of their kids gets sick, they may not be able to afford health care. That shouldn't happen in the United States of America. And what the NLRB has done is said, let's give more fairness, more transparency, a more streamlined process so that workers can unite together and have some little bit of leverage against the massive corporate interests. And I've been down here 9 years now in this Congress, and it seems to me that whatever the oil industry wants, they get. Whatever the insurance industry wants, they get. Whatever the multinationals want, they get. And if we don't begin as a country to empower average people to make a good middle-class wage, we are not going to be the America any of us want. We're going to be weaker. You want to talk about family values? These are family values. What the NLRB has done is move us closer to having some family values. So I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to say thank you for the leadership of the NLRB for some of these proposed changes. I hope they continue to move forward, and I hope this is just one small step where we as a country say, you know, if the middle class is working, if we're manufacturing things in the United States, if we work together with a common cause, a common purpose, if we're healthy, if we're educated, everything else will take care of itself. That's the kind of country that this decision is moving us towards, and I'd like to thank them and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Wahlberg, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While our President telegraphs to our enemies a timeline for ending the war that they are certainly willing to continue to commit to, while military efforts continue in Libya with uncertain, undisclosed, and unsuccessful outcomes led by our administration under NATO command, greater atrocities perpetrated against freedom seekers in Syria go unaddressed, unannounced, unconsidered by our President. Why? What's the reason? What's the time limit? It is known that Syria has been a continuing threat to freedom and a strong supporter and sustainer of unrest and terrorism in the Middle East and around the world. They're a strong ally of Iran and a constant threat to our friend Israel. As freedom seekers seeking citizens of Syria join, Mr. Speaker, many others in the Middle East in calling for political reforms, respect for human rights, and regime change, the government of Syria and President Bashar al-Assad is violently and sadistically suppressing the Syrian people, his own people. Tanks, snipers, goon squads, violent attacks on women and children, starvation and dehydration, inhuman imprisonment, torture, and worse has been the norm for the Syrian people for too long, without a strong and principled response from our President and our nation. Why? We're not calling for a war. We're not calling for troops on the ground. We're not calling for anything right now except to take a stand against this atrocity. Other nations have stood and voiced their concerns that President al-Assad has violated its international obligations, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the United Nations Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Isn't it time for our President and this administration to stand and speak as the world leader that he must be and call President Assad to step down, and for the Syrian government to end its cruel crimes against humanity? I am firmly convinced that the rest of the peace-loving world will respond to our leadership. They're looking for it. They expect it. They're asking for it. And the Syrian people will be encouraged and defended, and liberty's cause will be promoted in this earthquake zone called the Middle East. It's time to speak up. May God grant our President and this administration and our government the courage to do so, because it is for humanity and people like ourselves that we speak. I yield back my time.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Brown, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituents know that Washington could learn a lot from using just some good old-fashioned Georgia common sense. I want to tell you a quick story. Earlier this month, after one of my town hall meetings, a mayor from a small town in my district came up to tell me about the hard times that her city has been dealing with recently. Unemployment has shot through the roof, and many businesses in Houston, Georgia, have been forced to downsize or shut down completely. The mayor told me about how tough times have also required her to make some bold choices about Houston's budget. Ultimately, in efforts to keep the town afloat, she ended up by slashing their budget by a whopping 67%. The mayor said to me, quote, "Everything has to be put on the table. Nothing can be impossible to cut." My liberal Democrat colleagues need to take note. It's long past time for the Obama administration to stop spending money like there's no tomorrow. There is a tomorrow. And even though right now, with over 9% unemployment, that tomorrow is looking pretty bleak. America's runaway spending has gotten so far out of control that it's hard to get a grasp on the amount of debt our nation is in, or how long it will take us to repay the almost $14.5 trillion that we have borrowed. Americans don't want excuses anymore. They want solutions. They want less spending and more jobs. They want burdensome regulations removed from the backs of small businesses who can put so many more people back to work. They want more free choice and less big government when it comes to their day-to-day lives. Washington needs to follow the leads of small cities, small businesses, and families who are tightening their belts all across this country. That small Georgia town in my district that cut 67% of their budget to deal with their financial crisis ought to be a model and a blueprint for the Obama administration and for Congress. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the Chair declares the House in recess until noon today.
The House comes back at noon Eastern. Members will begin the day with debate rules for defense spending for the next budget year. Then that measure will be set aside and the House will continue work